Hello, my name is Isaac Miller, and welcome to my channel, Tune Up Your Mind. I'm here to have an open and frank but firm discussion with Jehovah's Witnesses. So I woke up from the religion in 2023 in July fully, but I started to wake up around 2014, and I officially left in October of 2024. Now, when I woke up, I immediately knew that I was going to speak out. So I took time to study a lot of things. Now, there are a few things I've been working on that I have not told you all about. And I would like to take the opportunity to do that now. So pay close attention. There was a few videos, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, on a video I mentioned about one of the most important things is not just the doctrines or even using the Bible itself, which all of those things are effective. But God's word does have power, so it's more important than the magazines for people that are heavily indoctrinated, not people that are already waking up and noticing things on their own. Now, you do need to show the history of the organization as well, but for a truth seeker, using God's word is definitely powerful. Also, there's a lot of psychological aspects to it, and there's a lot of techniques that are being implemented directly and indirectly. And I wanted to take an opportunity to do some blind studies. Now, I am working with some ministries that they want to know how to witness better to Jehovah's Witnesses. So I wanted to do a few blind studies first to get a better idea of certain things myself. And the reality is you're not going to be able to go to Jehovah's Witnesses directly because a lot of them will not be on YouTube and a lot of them will not engage publicly. And when they do come to your doors, when you start mentioning certain things that make them feel uncomfortable, they're usually going to run away. Or if you notice how certain things happen during court witnessing, the minute you start really challenging certain things, when it's publicly, they run. Now, privately, they'll engage with you more at the Kingdom Hall or if it's on their terms, because they can manipulate things a little bit more. And not saying everybody has these motives. I took my videos down about Paradise Earth. I was always going to take them down. I wanted to do a blind study because there's a guy I'm working with, and I would highly recommend, and I'm not giving you all the secrets, but I do want you to understand, Jehovah's Witnesses, that I've managed several sales teams. If you watch my videos, I've given sales speeches. So you never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And I'm still not letting you know. I'm just inviting you in. There's a few people that the Holy Spirit was convicting me that are not genuine. And as I'm responding to people, because I want to always engage, I like to pay attention to everything. So I've been studying what people pay attention to. I did this from day one. Clothes, jewelry, smiling, anything. Because you have to create an environment for Jehovah's Witnesses, because Satan the devil is so clever. He has put so much junk in a way that makes it hard for people to see truth. You have this double standard as well, where people are accusing you of things that they're doing. Also, one of the main issues is people can hide behind keyboards. And none of these people would face me face to face. I will definitely face you face to face in the streets, on the beach, in the sand, in the airplane. It don't matter, because I have nothing to hide and I don't do that cowardly stuff. So I've been studying the demographics to get an idea, at least for my channel. And the majority of people on my channel are men. And also, Lee Johnson, do not comment on my channel anymore. There's a few people that I was trying to figure out, are they pretending like they're not a Jehovah's Witness or not? And it's not that this person is a Jehovah's Witness. You're welcome to comment. But there's something that someone sent me today, and I was already aware of this. he was saying, don't cast your pearls before the swine. Stop responding to people. They're going to wear you out. I was always going to do that anyway, but I had to do this way so I can collect my data as I bring it back to the people I'm working with. And this is an excellent book. One of my close friends who's a law professor, the law director at LSU, he gave it to me a while back. And we always have philosophical discussions. And he's also a philosophy professor. And I employ certain tactics so I can study it. Not only do you need to know the doctrines, you need to know the psychological aspects when dealing with certain people. Now, also, I like to listen and see if people are listening to what I'm saying. I also can know, I want to see if how long people listen to the videos. So when I'm collecting these data, when I begin writing books on this information, especially when I go back to school, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm going back to school for, but when I'm at the point where I can start speaking on people's behalf and really educating them on certain things, I need to know the ins and outs. I have not been on this side before. So what you have to understand is people like to muddy the waters. They have not done their research. So I am going to put my video back up. I'm going to do it the way I intended to. And I'm going to really show you how I'm giving you my weakest argument on purpose so that you can tell me everything that you know. I wanted to see all the different arguments, and I want to show you the various interpretations for the new heavens and the new earth. I want to show you the full history of how the organization has changed that. And also, there is a paradise earth. Also, I wanted to see what if people are listening, because that's the main thing. Like I was telling some of these ministries, that I believe that Jehovah's Witnesses have some things correct. And I know sometimes certain Christians just like to attack Jehovah's Witnesses like they don't have anything correct. But I'm telling them that's not the case. So they want to know how to witness to them, because I understand, I've been on the inside. And you won't be able to get forward with them if they feel like you are an apostate or you know too much. They're going to just stop talking to you. So there's an art to it. So you always have to put yourself in a position where they're teaching you. You want them to underestimate you like you don't know anything. So play the dummy. And when I look at the demographics, when I look at people that are pretending not to be Jehovah's Witnesses or pretending like they want to know something, I want to deal with people that are really seeking truth and help. Not people that are just on here to muddy the waters, to discredit you, like they tried to do with Jesus. Say the Pharisees were looking to trap him, so he chose to be silent, or he'll put the question back on them. But sometimes you have to pretend like you don't know what you're doing to sniff other people out. So I'm able to see how people use comments, sending the scriptures, pretty much telling me I'm gonna die, or misapplying what I'm saying. But I want you to do that, because what I'm going to do, so when I present certain things in a terse way, I am already ahead of all your rebuttals. So now, this is what I mean by water points. When you talk about philosophical water points, you have to first know what the opposing party is saying and how they're saying it. And when somebody is pretending to be your friend to draw you in, while at the same time, you are fully aware of what they're doing. Now, I want to comment one person that I was a little skeptical about a little bit. We had a good telephone call, but Charlie Smith, you're genuine. Holy Spirit convict me with that. And there's so much stuff that people don't realize how aware I am with certain things. Even when I talk to people that are non-Jehovah's Witnesses, they keep saying, why you keep using a New World Translation? It's for a reason. So when I tell you I have about 1,500 topics to discuss, that is for a reason. So I am happy that I've collected all this data. I wanted to see the demographics of how long because it's clear to me that I have a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses on my channel, and which is good. And also, this is not just for Jehovah's Witnesses. I want to talk about other groups as well. I want to just have good philosophical discussions. I want to be able to talk about the issues people have with the Bible. What I see is there's a lot of biases on all sides. Also, when someone thinks that they're outwitting you, which is fine, doesn't matter to me because we all are having a discussion together. I have to take, if I'm going to write books on this and do projects and go back to school, I'm already collecting data, especially when I'm helping other ministries. Because I was involved with a prison ministry a few weeks ago. I'm going to do an episode about it. It was phenomenal. I've learned about so much what other groups do, other churches, how they spread the gospel, and how they're preaching to millions all over the world with their missionaries. And I want to let them know it's not that easy trying to preach to Jehovah's Witness. And also, you have to also realize that they have some things right. So it's not okay to just pick and choose Bible scriptures. So what you realize when people don't spread the message with love, they're looking to prove you wrong, and they're more focused on being right. And that's become evident to me. So I have to respond to certain things and then see what they say so I can fill them out. So now these same people, I don't have to engage with them anymore. I just block them and move on because they're not here seeking anything else. They're here to muddy the waters. So, and I feel like a weight has been lifted off me pretty much for the past 2 to 3 months, reading this excellent book, implementing these strategies, working with different people. And I always intended to take those videos down. And what I realized as well is that some people aren't, even if a subject may have 100 elements to it, and you only discuss one, they're going to get ahead and start saying all kinds of nonsense, and you haven't even fully established it. So with a subject like that, I would recommend, and I would tell people, don't let Jehovah's Witnesses change the subject when you're talking to them. They're always going, even if you bring up a point that they can't refute, they're going to talk about something they feel confident in. So, and also, you can't just ignore the hermeneutics of the Bible. So people that would say that people aren't living on, they can't live on a paradise earth, the reality is you can't prove that definitively, like DNA. So it is a subject that you should only engage with a Jehovah's Witness when you're going to have the Bible in front of you, the kingdom interlinears and all of their teachings, and do it open and live. Never do it through writing. It should always be live with other people present. Because if you do it any other way, they're going to muddy the waters and change the subject. But also on the other side, people that are non-Jehovah's Witnesses, or see, Jehovah's Witnesses are not the only people that teach paradise earth. That is in the Bible. For as people living on earth. So the paradise earth again, how it's not explicitly taught that way. But when I redo those episodes, I'm just going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about the new heavens and new earth. But I want to talk about all the different interpretations of it because it's also educational. I want to talk about the Christ millennial reign, all the different interpretations of it. Because see, I'm a student of knowledge. Also, I want people on my channel that are genuinely here to educate and learn, not just to assume that you know everything. I don't know everything, neither do you. And also to keep the energy positive. So I've identified those people. I will not be engaging with you. You will be blocked. You can call it what you want. I've been sniffing you out, and I've been studying you. When the Holy Spirit convicts me, even when people send me emails like, "Hey, I got a question. Call this number." Sometimes I know when it's genuine. I know when it's not. Oh, let me vet you first. I don't just give my number out as an example. The person is refusing to do that, or somebody's asking me a question. I want to talk to you on the phone about that. So there are times when you're dealing with demonic influences for certain spirits. Ephesians 6:12. There are people on here that I believe that have been, this is my personal belief, that have been hired to pretend to be Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're trained to muddy the waters because they think that you're messing up the organization. I already knew that. There's also people, there's a reason why it's mainly men on here that's doing it and not the women. So all that is important to me, to study that, to see how long they watch the video. You can tell to see what they're not even watching it. They see the subject and and I'm happy you did all of that. So now that allows me, all I did was take all that data and looked at your arguments and put it in my notes as I'm writing my books or my rebuttals, and which is great. Because here's the thing about real truth. No matter how much you try to muddy the waters of it, truth stands up under scrutiny. And you have not heard the real argument yet. So I appreciate people being concerned about me, that I'm responding to people too much. Isaac Miller knows how to defend himself. Isaac Miller knows when to withdraw. But there's certain things that I have to do on purpose to learn something from, so I can also help other people. So when I'm telling other people, hey, do it this way, do it that way, I can help them not waste their time. I can help them now to know when to engage, when not. Because the difference is, other groups that want to help Jehovah's Witnesses have not been a Jehovah's Witness. They have not seen the culture. They don't know when something would be an absolute waste of time. How if they put it on their turf, you're casting your pearls before the swine. So there is nothing that I do that does not have purpose to it. And there's not to be misconstrued either, because I am genuinely trying to help people. But also, I realize that what I'm supposed to do is a little bit bigger than what I thought. It's not just to make YouTube videos. It's not even just to speak to Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not even just to speak to other high control groups. It's much bigger. And the more I walk down this journey, the more I see certain things. And also I am looking for people that will educate me more. And I'm looking to learn. And there are certain things, like Jesus said, that you should never talk about in certain settings, because it's going to be misconstrued and misinterpreted. No matter how factual it be, you're talking about Jesus Christ, raised the sick, cured the dead. Raised the dead, cured the sick, did all these things. All this stuff was prophesied about him, and people still didn't accept that. So my main job is, as I'm doing this, to identify right away who's genuine. Because there was a element of it where I didn't really know, and I've been working on that, asking for spiritual discernment to be able to know right away who not to work with, who to move forward with, and just trust that intuition. So, but I had to draw those people out, and I've been trained even deeper with that. So I know who you are, certain people. I know what you are. Do not comment on my channel. Don't do that. It's only because you were being fake about it. So, in addition to that, also, I like to pay attention to condescending comments and how people do it and what they're trying to do and their motive. The motive is to wear you out. The motive is to make you feel tired. That's why you don't engage with people that are skilled at nonsense. So be in anticipation for that series where I'm going to talk about all of that, the new heavens, new earth. And again, people that are non-Jehovah's Witnesses, do not try to disprove that there is not a paradise earth, which I never said that myself. But I wanted to see the argument so I can show the holes in certain things and that we can see the other interpretations of certain things. And also just to stick to what the Bible is teaching. And also, even if it doesn't explicitly say it, it's important to understand that some people are skilled at misunderstanding you. No matter what you do, they're going to do that. So Jehovah's Witness, even read this book. It'll help you out too. It's an excellent book. And I am working on several writings and working with several people because people that are non-Jehovah's Witnesses have more of a chance to reach Jehovah's Witnesses. They just have to know how to do it. And a lot of people are expressing interest in that because they don't understand the doctrines. And if not, they will eat you alive. Not because what they're saying is true in certain cases. Certain things are true. That's why I tell people at certain church groups, even when they try their best, I'm saying I'm not going to just agree with what you're saying just because I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness. That's what got me in trouble in the first place. So if Jehovah's Witnesses are right about something and I see evidence for it, I'm going to say that, hey, you can't disprove that. So stay away from that. Now, that doesn't mean that it's fully right. What I'm simply saying is, if somebody said that they were present somewhere and you have no way to prove that they were not present, is your word against theirs. Don't waste your time with arguments like that. If a person isn't willing to do the true hermeneutics and exegesis of certain things, they're not willing to sit down and see how they literally have changed the Bible, to see how that is one of the main reasons why they're not able to see that what's true. If they don't respect your opinion, unsolicited advice is no advice at all. Why waste your time giving advice to people that don't even value it? For example, somebody is racist against an African American. It don't matter what I'm saying. I could be true all day. They can't get past that discrimination and that bias. So that's how some people view what you are. So there's a lot of psychological aspects to it. And some people are just blind. So you don't cast your pearls before the swine. So this is also something that I wanted to just mention to people in general. It's good to sit back and observe and also let people underestimate you because that gives you the most power. You can't prepare for somebody if you think you know all the moves. You also can't prepare for someone that you don't respect. So let them disrespect you. Let them do all of that and know exactly how to approach certain matters. And again, this is helpful to me because I never want to overlook somebody that's genuine. And I was struggling with that because so many people that I had an intuition that something is off here. But I spent a lot of time in prayer with God over the months, helping me to have that succinct discernment where I could know. And it really set in this past week after me wrapping up this particular blue or blind study I was engaging in. And I see that one of the reasons why it took me so long to really synapse it properly because I'm too trusting. And also I assume that everybody is good because I want everybody to be good. I think everybody is genuine, but some of that is just not the case. And this is helpful to me as I compile this information, as I go back and share witnessing strategies to Jehovah's Witnesses. I could show them exactly these are the scriptures you're going to have to deal with, and they are right about these. Now if you disagree with that, then you're welcome to try to debate that. But I've given you the forewarning that you're not going to win that particular side because the facts will show that they're right on this in itself. So what will happen is the person might be wrong about 45 things. and they'll focus on the one or two things they're right about in the midst of the fact, well, you're still wrong about 45 other things. And these 45 other things are essential to this other stuff. So that's really what I wanted to say. And Jehovah's Witnesses, you're welcome to say whatever you want to say. I have garnered the information that I need to garner, and I look forward, because I have so many topics to discuss. And the ones that are most controversial, I don't want it to be muddied. So I needed to see the responses first and give the weakest arguments so that I can help unmuddy some of that a little bit more. So that I can just get straight to the point in those water points. What I always say, what a water point is this simple. I have to see certain things are so convoluted, it's hard to find a water point. It may not have a water point, it may just be somebody's opinion. But I always feel like there are water points in all theology where you can't overlook it. So you have to know how to ask the right questions. You have to know how to redirect the question. You also have to know how to make the right statement. You also have to know when to be silent. You also have to know when to let somebody just think what they want to think. But again, a water point is not debating how much water you need, but do we need water? Yes or no? And some questions are not a yes or no question. So is it based on a law, a philosophical law, a historical law, a biblical law, a scientific law, etc.? Or is it just based on somebody's opinion? But if it's a universal law, it will be consistent. So everybody needs water. That's not debatable. But how much you need is. See, what Jehovah's Witnesses do in other groups, they'll bring you into debate about how much you need versus the point at hand is, do we need it? And then sometimes it'll be reversed. So sometimes you're debating on needing water, which that's not debatable. You need it. Versus discussing how much you need. So knowing those differences is important. And water points are effective because it backs the person's intellect in a corner where they're going to attempt to say something. Nobody's going to attempt to say that they don't need water. They're going to be tempted to say something and they're going to realize it sounds stupid as it's coming out of their mouth. Those are the only things that we want to identify moving forward. And sometimes we have to garner all the information from some of the best arguments. As even I've studied other people's channels to see the rebuttals that other people are giving. I have to compile all that together. And then, because with one thing when you're right about something, but you're trying to figure out how to present it in the most simplest way possible, whilst getting ahead of all these cultural arguments and these ones and that ones and this one. So it's good to have varied opinions because they're going to know information that you haven't looked into yet. They're going to be able to bring it to your attention. But I want that from genuine people. I'm not looking to be right about everything. I'm not looking to not be challenged. But I can't be sleeping with the enemy. Somebody that's pretending with their own agenda. That's negative energy. I can feel it. So I sniff those people out and I'm getting rid of them. And I've been noticing that, but I was unsure, but now I've identified them. So that's all I wanted to say today. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment on my channel, and share my channel as well. And please know that in order for me to do this with joy, I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm doing this from my heart. Just know that I am going to implement a few things differently so that I don't burn myself out. But at the same time, the people that are genuinely interested in my well-being, just know that I'm a little more aware on certain things. Because when I talk to certain people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses, when they critique certain things, they don't get that I say certain things a certain way because they were never a Jehovah's Witness. They don't realize why I'm doing certain things that what they're saying would not reach a Jehovah's Witness. So you always have to empower a Jehovah's Witness. They need to be the teacher. They don't look at you as being right. So as they're teaching you, and it's harder to do on YouTube formats and written formats because they're controlling the narratives. So which is why if somebody wants to talk to me, like I said, I'll gladly talk to you on the phone or live for certain people. I've identified that that is a must for certain people. Because that is the only way to properly establish that person. Now, if they're interested, they're genuinely interested, then they'll do it. If not, then they won't. So just like you have the right and say, I don't want to talk to you verbally, or talk to you live, I have the right not to respond to your comment then. So more can be established that way. And you have to know when to do that. So I remember, because I used to represent my school and in social studies and stuff. And when you have the art, there's an art to debating. Verbal debates. It's very hard to do that in written form. When people can muddy waters or have this, it's like when text message gets confused. So you have to reestablish that. And that's the main thing, like, because when I'm writing things about how to witness verbally, how to witness do written form, you have to see all of that, all of those particular things on how to keep a subject centered. Because when people jump around subjects, like if you make a point about this is not in the Bible or this has been changed, a person don't address that. They just jump to the next subject, but not realizing, well, if this part is wrong, it makes the whole argument fall apart because you need this to be correct to make the argument in the first place. So anyway, take care. Have a great weekend.